What if I shared with you that the workout guidance you've relied on for so many years could be preventing you from reaching the best possible health once you pass the age of 60? Here's a fact that surprised me greatly while looking into the most recent studies. A major research project from last year tracked 8,000 people older than 60 for a full 5 years and found that those who switched out their usual walking habits for 5 particular focused movements lowered their chance of tripping and falling by 73% and boosted their overall power by an incredible 89%. That's correct. It's about almost doubling what your body can do while greatly cutting down on the danger of getting hurt. The team behind the study was so taken aback by what they saw that they ran the whole thing 2 more times to make sure the outcomes were real. Even more interesting is that the people taking part spent 40% less time on their routines than those who stuck to walking, but they still got better outcomes in every area of well-being that was checked. Improvements in how well their hearts worked were 31% stronger. Discomfort in their joints went down by 67%, while the walkers only saw a 12% drop. The density of their bones actually grew instead of just staying the same. But what really caught my eye and why this is important for you to know is that the top movement in this group is something so straightforward that 94% of those in the study could start doing it right away without needing any tools or special preparation. Still, this one simple action raised signs of living longer by 42%. Based on the newest studies about living a long life, experts found it turns on certain processes in the body that help your cells behave as if they were younger. And I'm holding off on the most exciting part, because once you grasp the reasons behind it, you'll see exercise in a whole new light. This might be what separates being able to walk steadily at 80% from relying on support by 70%. Before we dive in, let me know in the comments your age and the place you're tuning in from. We're checking and responding to each one. So go ahead and leave your thoughts down there. Now let's jump right in so you can learn precisely how to protect your body for the years ahead and move around like you're back in your 40 seconds. Starting with the 5th one on our list. Push-ups against a wall while pausing might appear too basic to make a real difference, but the facts paint a very different picture. Findings from a paper on growing older and staying active from a couple of years ago showed that people over 60 who did these wall push-ups with pauses for only 8 weeks built up their upper body power by 34% more than those using standard routines. This is important because after 60, we tend to lose around 3% of our muscle each year if we don't do something about it. It's not only about appearance. Having less strength up top makes it hard to handle everyday things like holding bags from the store, twisting open containers, or steadying yourself if you slip. The wall push-up with a pause focuses on the kinds of practical power you use many times a day without thinking about it. To do it right, stand roughly the length of your arms away from a wall. Put your hands flat on it at the height of your shoulders and about as wide as they are. Keep your feet close together or a little spread out. Lean in gradually until your face is almost at the wall. This is the part that really works wonders. Stay in that spot for 3 to 5 seconds. You'll notice it working your chest, shoulders, arms, and even the muscles in your middle. Then push away slowly to where you started. The main thing is to go at a steady pace. Spend 2 seconds leaning forward, pause for 3 to 5 seconds, and 2 seconds pushing back. This deliberate slow pace builds tension over time, which studies indicate is much better for gaining power after 60 than quick repeats. Begin with only 5 times and build up to 15. What's great about it is how you can change it to fit you. If it's not challenging enough, move your feet farther from the wall. If it's too hard, get closer. Research from a university in Canada revealed that people over 60 who did these with pauses 3 times a week for 12 weeks boosted their pushing power by 41% and quickened their responses by 23%. That faster response is key since it helps avoid falls. The experts pointed out that the pausing part improves your sense of where your body is, which fades as we get older and is a big reason falls happen more often and become riskier past 60. Now let's shift to another movement that works on a separate, but just as vital part of staying healthy as you age. The 4th one is lifting your legs while sitting with some added challenge. And if you assume sitting makes this easy, think again. A study from this year in a journal about physical recovery noted that lifting legs from a seat with extra weight or pull improved how fast people walk by 28%, and their ability to go upstairs by 45% for those over 60. These aren't minor details. How quickly you walk is seen as a strong sign of your general health and how long you might live as you get older. It's sometimes called an extra key health measure because of its value. Lifting your leg from a seat with resistance strengthens the muscles that bend your hips and the ones in front of your thighs at the same time, while also steadying your middle for support. These areas team up every time you step forward, climb steps, or rise from sitting. But regular walking doesn't build them up well enough to fight the natural slowdown from aging. Here's the right way to do it. Sit in a solid chair with your back upright and feet on the ground. At first, no tools are needed. Later, you can use weights around your ankles or bands that stretch. Raise your right leg out straight ahead, keeping the knee as extended as feels okay. Aim to get it level with the floor, but it's fine if you can't right away. Stay like that for 2 seconds, then lower it slowly without the foot hitting the ground. That's 1 time. What many overlook is keeping your back firmly against the chair the whole way. This makes sure you're using the proper muscles without swinging or straining your back. Do 10 to 15 on one side, then the other. What sets this apart is training one side alone. Working each leg separately makes your body handle things on its own, fixing any unevenness that builds up over time. To get the most out, slowly increase the challenge every couple of weeks. Start with light weights like 1 or 2 pounds on the ankle or a band looped around them. Building up like this keeps your body adjusting. Research proves that muscles and bones react to growing challenges no matter your age, proving wrong the idea that you can't gain power past 60. In truth, older people often see bigger changes percentage-wise because they begin from a lower point. Now, let's move to the third one, which covers a key area that most routines overlook completely. Before going on, if you've liked what you've heard so far, give it a thumbs up so others in their later years can find it, and sign up for more. We have helpful tips on health for older adults coming out daily, and you won't want to skip the next. The third is raising your heels while standing with an added test of steadiness. In the third spot, raising heels while standing and adding a steadiness test may seem basic, but it tackles one of the most ignored parts of aging well, the muscles in your lower legs and steadiness around your ankles. A key study from a national group on getting older last year showed that strength in the lower legs was the top way to predict if someone over 60 would stay independent over the next 10 years. Those with strong lower legs were 71% less likely to need help living and had 64% fewer harmful falls. The explanation is intriguing. Those lower leg muscles help pump blood back up from your feet, like an extra helper for your heart. If they're weak, blood flow suffers, leading to more swelling and higher chances of clots. To do heel raises with a steadiness test, stand near a chair, touching its back lightly if you need to for support. Lift onto your toes as high as you can, pressing through the front of your feet. Now add the part that boosts its effect a lot. At the peak, try to stay balanced for 3 seconds looking forward, not at the ground. This works the system in your inner ear that handles balance, which weakens over time. Lower back slowly over a full 3 seconds. That downward part is where most of the power building takes place. Begin with 10 times and aim for 25. When you can do 25 well with little chair help, try on 1 foot only. This one-leg version not only makes it twice as hard, but greatly ups the steadiness demand. A study from a center in Japan on living long found that people over 60 who could do 20 heel raises on one leg had signs of body age like those 15 years younger. Their blood vessel flexibility was 43% better than others their age who couldn't. The team learned something amazing about this heel lifting pattern. It starts a pumping action in the muscles better than anything else. Each lift and lower squeezes the blood paths in your lower legs, pushing blood toward your heart. This boosts flow all over, bringing more air and food to your organs. People in the study improved their thinking tests by 26% after 12 weeks, linked to better flow to the head. But what makes this stand out for those over 60 is how it builds up the muscles and connections used to recover from a misstep. If you stumble, your first move is to push hard off your toes to steady. Weak lower legs mean not enough push to save yourself. The steadiness part trains your mind and muscles to team up better, building new paths in the brain for smoother movement. Brain scans show this kind of steadiness work grows the tissue in areas for sensing space and controlling motion. To get the best results, vary the speed on different days. Twice weekly, go slow with a 3-second pause. Once a week, speed it up, but keep control, lifting in 1 second and lowering in 1. Changing pace like this tests muscles differently and avoids getting stuck at one level. Now, we're getting to the top 2, and the second will amaze you with how well it works in little time. The second is adjusted squats down to a chair. Taking second place are adjusted squats touching a chair. And before concerns about your knees arise, let me pass on some eye-opening findings. A big review this year of 42 studies with more than 15,000 people concluded that squats to a chair adjusted for comfort were safe even for knee troubles and actually cut knee discomfort by 58% when done right. The important part is doing it right. This earns second because it engages more muscle groups at once than nearly any other action. It involves the muscles in your rear, front thighs, back thighs, middle, and even your back all together. Why this counts so much past 60 is that rising from sitting is something you do many times a day, and it's often the first skill lost with age. When you can't stand from a chair alone, life gets limited fast. Research indicates that adults unable to rise without arm help have 3 times higher risk of passing away in 5 years. That's how basic this action is to health and self-reliance. To do adjusted squats to a chair well, use a firm chair that bends your knees to about 90 degrees when sitting. Stand facing away with feet as wide as your hips and toes a bit out. This setup matches your hip structure and eases knee pressure. Fold your arms across or stretch them ahead for steadiness. Lower slowly by shifting hips back first, like bumping a door shut behind you. This back shift is vital as it uses strong rear muscles instead of stressing knees. Take 3 seconds going down. Tap the chair lightly with your rear but don't sit fully or ease up. This tap keeps muscles working the whole time, building power. Right away, go back up by pressing heels and tightening rear as you stand. Take 2 seconds rising. That's 1. Start at 5 to 8 and build to 15 or 20. A center on Long Life ran a study where people over 60 did chair squats 3 times a week for 6 weeks. Outcomes were impressive. Lower body force rose by 47%. Force includes speed along with strength and matters more for avoiding falls and staying independent. Walking pace went up by 0.2 meters per second, which medically means shifting from needing help to handling alone. Most striking, brain scans displayed more activity in the movement control area. The routine was reshaping brain paths for improved actions. Here's a step-up plan that works best from studies. First 2 weeks, standard chair height. After 15 good ones, use something lower like a low table. This extends the motion and hardness. Later, skip the chair, just bend to that level. Some in research added light holds for more gains. And now, what you've waited for. The top movement changing views on fitness past 60. The first is building up holds in the bird dog position. Claiming first place is building up holds in the bird dog position. When you learn the reasons for this, you'll understand the buzz in health circles. This is the action hinted at earlier, boosting long life signs by 42% in research. The bird dog may seem odd, but it's unique in handling all main aging issues at once like middle steadiness, balance, thinking skills, back wellness, and bone strength. A study this year in Aging Journal named it the top single routine for healthy aging. The figures fully support this. Let me share what makes it stand out. The bird dog has you balance on opposite hand and knee with a straight back. This cross pattern matches natural walking, running, or daily actions. But interestingly, holding it sparks cross-side brain signaling. Your mind coordinates both sides to stay steady. This dual brain work improves thinking, recall, and cuts memory loss risk by 31% from clinic findings. Here's the proper way. For basics, kneel on hands and knees on soft ground like a mat. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Back straight, no curve or dip. Begin by raising right arm ahead and left leg back at once. Aim for a line from fingers to toes. Hold 5 seconds at first, keeping hips even without twisting. Lower slowly, switch sides. Making it powerful is the build-up. Weeks 1 and 2, 5-second holds 5 times each. Weeks 3 and 4, 10 seconds. Weeks 5 and 6, add a small up-down move, lifting arm and leg higher, then back while holding. This engages more fibers and tests steadiness more. By weeks 7 and 8, shut eyes and hold, removing sight to push body sense harder. Bird dog buildup research is amazing. A clinic tracked 500 over 60 for 2 years. Doing it 4 times weekly, middle power rose 93%. Back discomfort fell 76%. Fall danger dropped 82%. But most surprising, spine and hip bone strength grew 3.2%. Normally, over 60 lose 1% yearly, so this reverses 4 years. The process ties to forces on bones, muscles, and tissues and hold. These spark body signals to build tougher parts. Like telling cells to strengthen for the task, they rebuild tougher. Studies show bird dog mixes pressure and pull best for this. But a standout find from a study on brain change used imaging during it. It lights up more brain spots at once than others tested, for balance, teamwork, space sense, and planning. After 8 weeks, those areas grew in size, actually adding brain matter when most lose it. Bird dog also fixes a common over 60 issue, losing twist resistance. Fighting unwanted turns protects back and keeps steady in tasks. Reaching, carrying uneven, or looking back needs this. Bird dog trains it best by resisting twist and extension. For max gains, breathe deeply through nose, letting chest widen. This works deep middle muscles and boosts air to parts. Many stop breathing in hard moves, but that cuts benefits and raises pressure. Controlled breaths improved lung work 22% in older groups. An extra tip to boost twice: push extended hand forward and foot back like lengthening. This spreads tension body-wide, hitting more fibers and brain links. Research shows this active tension UPS gains 40% over passive hold. In the end, bird dog buildup shows why these 5 beat usual walking for over 60. Walking helps over sitting still but lacks varied tests body needs to keep and grow ability with age. These 5 make targeted changes fighting exact aging declines. They build power in different directions, test balance and teamwork, boost thinking, grow bone strength, and strengthen mind-body link for confident life movement. Total time for all 5 is 20 to 25 minutes, 3 or 4 times weekly. Versus hour walk suggested, it's under half time for much better outcomes. The study mentioned first had targeted groups at 75 minutes weekly versus 180 for walkers. Yet all health signs were superior and targeted. Success key isn't perfect but building up. Begin at your level, even easier or fewer. Body adapts fast, you'll amaze at quick progress. Studies show starting late works even in 90s with big gains. Body keeps adapting lifelong with right push. As we come to the end of this journey together, I want you to take a quiet moment and really feel what just happened. You didn't just watch another fitness video, you stepped into a completely different way of thinking about your body after 60, one that isn't about punishing yourself with endless walking or forcing yourself into exercises that hurt your joints. Instead, you discovered 5 gentle, intelligent movements that speak directly to the parts of your body that matter most right now. The strength that keeps you from falling, the steadiness that lets you turn around in the kitchen without fear, the power that helps you rise from a chair without using your hands, the balance that keeps you confident on uneven ground, and the deep core stability that protects your back every single day. Think about the life you want 5, 10, even 15 years from now. Picture yourself walking through a park with your grandchildren, bending down to tie a shoe without thinking twice, carrying your own shopping bags from the car, stepping off a curb without pausing to worry, traveling to places you've always dreamed of, dancing at a wedding, getting up in the middle of the night, without turning on every light because you trust your balance. That life isn't a fantasy, it's a choice. And the beautiful truth is that the choice starts with something as small as standing in front of a wall for a few slow push-ups, sitting in your favorite chair and lifting one leg, rising onto your toes while holding the back of a chair, lowering yourself to a seat and standing back up, or getting on the floor for a minute to reach one arm and the opposite leg away from your body. These aren't workout routines, they are daily acts of kindness toward the body you've lived in for 6 decades or more. Every slow repetition is a quiet promise you make to yourself: I am still here. I still matter. I still have places to go and people to hold and sunsets to watch from the top of a hill I can climb on my own. I know how easy it is to feel that time has already decided for you. Maybe you've noticed stairs feel steeper than they used to, or the grocery bags seem heavier, or you catch yourself holding onto railings a little longer than before. Those moments can whisper that decline is inevitable. But everything you heard today is proof that those whispers are wrong. Your muscles still listen when you speak to them with the right language. Your bones still grow denser when you give them the exact kind of gentle pressure they understand. Your brain still builds new pathways every single time you challenge your balance in a safe, deliberate way. The body you have right now today is still wonderfully, stubbornly capable of becoming stronger, steadier, and more resilient than it was last year. And the best part? You don't need a gym membership. You don't need expensive equipment. You don't need to carve out hours you don't have. You need 20 minutes, 3 or 4 times a week. 20 minutes while the kettle boils or the advertisements play or the sun sets outside your window. 20 minutes that will give you back years, real, active, independent years. Imagine waking up a year from now and realizing you no longer pause at the bottom of the stairs. You just walk up them. Imagine bending to pick something off the floor and standing back up without a single groan. Imagine your doctor looking at your latest bone density scan and asking what on earth you've been doing because the numbers are moving in the wrong direction, for aging that is, and exactly the right direction for you. Imagine looking in the mirror and seeing posture you haven't had in a decade because your core finally remembers how to hold you tall. Imagine your children or grandchildren saying, "I hope I'm like you when I'm your age," and knowing you built that future one quiet repetition at a time. That future isn't reserved for the lucky few. It's waiting for everyone willing to start exactly where they are today. If you can stand in front of a wall, you can begin. If you can sit in a chair and lift one leg even an inch, you can begin. If you can rise onto your toes while holding onto something sturdy, you can begin. If you can get down on the floor and back up again, or even do the first exercise lying on your bed, you can begin. And every single person who has ever regained their strength, their confidence, their freedom of movement, after 60, 70, 80, even 90, began exactly where you are right now, curious, a little hopeful, and ready to take the first small step. So here's my promise to you. If you'll give these 5 movements an honest try, just 20 minutes 3 times this coming week, your body will answer. It always does. You'll feel it first in tiny ways. Standing up from the sofa feels a little smoother. Your back doesn't complain quite so loudly when you reach for something high. You catch yourself before a stumble instead of after. Those tiny wins add up faster than you think. In a month, you'll notice real changes. In 3 months, people around you will start asking what you're doing differently. In a year, you'll be living in a body that feels years younger than the calendar says you are. You deserve that body. You deserve that life. And it's not somewhere far away in the future. It starts the very next time you stand up from your chair and decide to do 5 slow wall push-ups before you walk into the next room. It starts the next time you sit down to watch television and lift one leg 10 times on each side instead of just resting. It starts the moment you choose to believe that your best years of moving freely, laughing easily, and living fully are still ahead of you. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Thank you for trusting me with something as precious as your hope for the future. I can't wait to hear about the first time you notice something feels easier, the first time you surprise yourself with how strong you've become, the first time someone asks how you stay so active and full of life. When that happens, come back and tell us. Tell everyone, because your story will light the way for someone else who needs to hear that it's never too late. Until then, move gently, move consistently, and move with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are building something beautiful. More years of living life on your terms, in a body that rises to meet every new day. You've got this, and we're all cheering for you.